Welcome back to Zion's Redemption Radio Network. Today we're going to be covering part 2 of chapter 11 of the Church and the Gospel. The title of the chapter is The Only True God, and we'll be starting on page 153. We'll get right into the reading. Number 3. Were Adam and Eve aware of the effect that the fall would have on them and their children? In my fullest belief, it was the design of the Lord that Adam should partake of the forbidden fruit, and I believe that Adam knew all about it before he came to this earth. I believe there was no other way. Page 154 at 25%. There was no other way leading to the thrones and dominions only for him to transgress or take that position which transgression alone could place man in, to descend below all things, that they might ascend to thrones, principalities, and powers, for they could not ascend to that eminence without first descending, nor upon any other principle. End quote. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 2, page 302. Quote, "And I reckon that Adam came into the Garden of Eden and did actually eat of the fruit that he himself planted. And I reckon that there was a previous understanding, and that the whole plan was previously calculated before the Garden of Eden was made, that he would reduce his posterity to sin, misery, darkness, wickedness, wretchedness, and to the power of the devil, that they might be prepared for an exaltation, for without this they could not receive one." End quote. Brigham Young, Teachings of the Prophet, or Teachings of Brigham Young, compiled by Fred Collier, October 8th, 1854, page 360. After the earth was prepared, Father Adam came and stayed here, and there was a woman brought to him. Now I am telling you something that many of you know. It has been told you, and the brethren and sisters should understand it. There was a certain woman brought to Father Adam, whose name was Eve, because she was the first woman, and she was given to him to be his wife. I am not disposed to give any further knowledge concerning her at present. There is no doubt but that he left many companions. The great and glorious doctrine that pertained to this I have not time to dwell upon, neither should I at present if I had time. He understood this whole machinery or system before he came to this earth, and I hope my brethren and sisters will profit by what I have told them. End quote. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 16, page 167. Topic 4, or question 4. What kind of body did Adam and Eve bring into the Garden of Eden? Physical or spiritual, mortal or immortal? Or on page 155 at 29%. There was no blood in his, speaking of Adam's body, but he had a spiritual body until it was changed by the fall. A spirit body is one which is not quickened by blood, but by spirit. Before the fall, Adam had a physical, tangible body of flesh and bones, but it was not quickened by blood. Joseph Fielding Smith, Church History and Modern Revelation, 1948, second in a series of 4 Melchizedek Priesthood Manuals, page 5. So basically what he's saying is that there was light that infused his veins. He didn't have blood in his body. It was spirit that was nourishing his body, his resurrected and exalted body. Question: As Adam was an immortal being when placed here on the earth and commanded to multiply, would not his offspring have been immortal but for the fall? Melchizedek Priesthood Forum, Logan, Utah. Answer: yes, but they would have had spiritual bodies only, not bodies of flesh and blood and bone. When Adam and Eve were first placed in the Garden of Eden, they had resurrected bodies in which there was no blood. A spiritual fluid or substance circulated in their veins instead of blood. Consequently, they had not power to beget children with the tabernacles of flesh, such as human beings possess. The fall caused a change in their bodies, which, while it rendered them mortal, at the same time gave them power to create the mortal bodies of flesh, blood, and bone for their offspring. This is a very brief explanation of a very important subject, and that was written in the Liahona publication by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Volume 6, page 33. Things were first created spiritually. The Father actually begot the spirits, and they were brought forth and lived with him. Then he commenced the work of creating earthly tabernacles, precisely as he had been created in the flesh by himself, by partaking of the coarse material that was organized and composed this earth, until his system was charged with it. Consequently, the tabernacles of his children were organized from the coarse materials of this earth. End quote. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 4, page 218. And what was the full extent of the penalty of Adam's transgression? I will tell you, it was death. The death of what? The death of the immortal tabernacle, of that tabernacle where the seeds of death had not been, or on page 156 at 33%. That was wisely framed and pronounced very good. The seeds of death were introduced into it. How and in what manner? Some say there was something in the nature of the fruit that introduced mortality. End quote. The Masterful Discourses of Orson Pratt by Lundwall, page 336. And Adam and Eve were made of the dust of the earth from which they came. They brought their bodies with them. They had lived and died and been resurrected before they came here, and they came here with immortal bodies, and had to partake of the fruit of this earth in order to bring forth mortal bodies, or, in other words, natural bodies, that their seed might be of the dust of this earth as they were from the dust of the earth from which they came. Samuel W. Richards, Journal 1, Book 2, pages 63 and 64. We have not the power in the flesh to create and bring forth or produce a spirit, but we do have the power to produce a temporal body. The germs of this God has placed within us, and when our spirits receive our bodies, and through our faithfulness we are worthy to be crowned, we will then receive authority to produce both spirit and body. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 15, page 137. And just remember what I said in the last episode, part 1, about what God showed me about how the spirits are created. And this is speculation on Brigham's part. He doesn't really know, but he's kind of acting like he knows, but he's getting things wrong. But there's a lot of truth too. So that's why God says not to trust in the flesh, and that we need to go to him and get our own revelation and confirmation of the Spirit. Continuing on, When our father Adam came into the Garden of Eden, he came into it with a celestial body. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 1, page 50. Eve, mortal Eve, came down to earth to become the mother of a race. How become the mother of a world of mortals except by herself again becoming mortal? How become mortal only by transgressing the laws of immortality? How only by eating of the forbidden fruit, by partaking of the elements of a mortal earth, in which the seed of death was everywhere scattered. All Orthodox theologians believe Adam and Eve to have been at first immortal, and that acknowledge the great command, be fruitful and multiply, more on page 157 at 37%. That they were not about to become the parents of a world of immortals is evident, for they were on a mortal earth, and that's compiled by Tullidge, Woman of Mormondom, pages 197 and 198. Adam and Eve were mortal beings, were placed on earth and commanded to multiply and fill the earth with posterity. Bruce R. McConkie, A Light Unto the World, page 4. Number 5. How did the animals, birds, and other living things get on this planet? Adam was the person who brought the animals and other seeds from other planets to this world. He brought a wife with him and stayed here. You may read and believe what you please as to what is found written in the Bible. Brigham Young, Journal of Discourses, Volume 3, page 319. And that's true. There are means of transporting animals from older earths and seeds from older earths to this earth, and this earth was populated with animals from that world. So, and this is complete speculation, but I believe that the pyramids were actually landing platforms for large spaceships to land and unload their cargo on the earth. That's my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a fanciful wish, whatever. But I kind of tend towards that. I think it's an interesting theory anyway. Not that it has anything to do with the gospel, but it's interesting. Anyway, after the earth was made, then there was a garden spot selected, and the Lord commanded some of his associates to go and to plant it, and to cause all kinds of vegetation to grow, and fruit of every description. Some suppose the Lord commanded all these things to come out of the earth. Yes, he did. After the seeds were put in the earth, and he blessed the earth and the vegetation that was upon the earth. When all these things were done, the garden was beautified and was made pure and clean and holy and sanctified. And then the next thing was to bring forth the animal creation. But the animals were not brought there until the vegetation was planted and grown. We often sing, "This earth was once a sacred garden place, where God and our Father dwelt, and took possession, and a stand that mankind will take who attain to that honor." Man, I'm getting tired. The religion of Jesus Christ, of angels, of Brigham, and of all good men is to take care of and improve and adorn the earth as Adam did. When he planted the garden, he planted it with seeds he brought with him, and he also brought the animals from the earth he lived upon, where his father dwelt. Heber C. Kimball, Journal of Discourses, Volume 8, page 243. We have been taught that our Father and God, from whom we sprang, called and appointed his servants to go and organize an earth, and among the rest, he said to Adam, "You go along also and help all you can. You are going to inhabit it when it is organized. Therefore, go and assist in the good work." It reads in the scriptures that the Lord did it, but the true rendering is that the Almighty sent Jehovah and Michael to do the work. They were also instructed to plant every kind of vegetable, likewise the forest and the fruit trees. They actually brought from heaven every variety of fruit, and of the seeds of vegetables, the seeds of flowers and plants, and planted them in this earth on which we dwell. And I will say more, the spot chosen for the Garden of Eden was Jackson County, Missouri, or in the state of Missouri, where Independence now stands. It was occupied in the morn of creation by Father Adam and his associates, who came with him for the express purpose of peopling this earth. Heber C. Kimball, Journal of Discourses, Volume 10, page 235, and that was recorded in 1863. So, number 6. What role, actually I just want to say this. So we know that Michael and Jehovah were sent by God, the Eternal Father, and the Council of the Gods to organize this earth. And a lot of people think that was Jesus, but Jesus did not have the power to create this world. He had the power to organize the spirits, but he did not have the power to create this world because he did not have a resurrected body. We know this because in Ether chapter 3, when Mohanrai Moriyankumer, or the brother of Jared, sees the finger of Jesus Christ, he says, Jesus says, "I have not shown myself unto anyone before this point, and this is my spirit body that you're beholding, and this is what I'll look like when I come in the flesh." So Jesus says, "I've never showed myself to man before this point." Now, when was this brother of Jared, Mohanrai Moriyankumer thing happening? It was after the Tower of Babel. Yet we have many accounts of the resurrected Jehovah appearing to people before the flood, before the time of Noah, even in the Garden of Eden. In fact, we know that Methuselah walked and talked with God, with Jehovah, and Enoch actually walked face to face and talked with him face to face. Which contradicts what Jesus said if Jesus were Jehovah. But we don't have to worry about it contradicting because Jesus and Jehovah are two separate individuals. In Moses chapter 1, Jehovah tells Moses that you're in the very similitude of mine only begotten Son. If Jehovah has an only begotten Son, who is he? Does Jesus have an only begotten Son? He will, but he does not yet have an only begotten Son. So when people say, "Oh, this is a scripture about Jesus," no, it's not. Jehovah is an exalted one before this earth was created. He is an Elohim, or one of the mighty ones. He holds that title. He brought, under the direction of the council of the mighty ones, or the gods, he brought Adam, or Michael. He showed Michael how to do the work, and Michael did it. Just giving you some time to think about that. Michael came to this earth with an exalted body of flesh and bones, which was infused with spirit. Jesus Christ appeared to Mohanre Moriyankumer with a body of spirit and said, "This is what I'll look like when I come in the flesh." In order to understand who the gods are, you have to understand the false doctrines that you have been taught throughout time. This whole idea that Jesus is Jehovah started to pop up shortly after the death of Brigham Young in the 1880s. It is iniquity to believe things that depart from the truth that God has revealed to us. Continuing on, what role did Adam or Michael the Ancient of Days play according to Joseph Smith? He, Adam, is the head and was told to multiply. The keys were first given to him and by him to others. He will have to give an account of his stewardship, and they to him. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 158. We cannot be made perfect without them, speaking of the angels, nor they without us. When these things are done, the Son of Man will descend, and the Ancient of Days will sit. The horn made war with the saints and overcame them until the Ancient of Days came. Judgment was given to the saints of the Most High from the Ancient of Days. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 159. I saw Adam in the valley of Adam-onan-Deammon. He called together his children and blessed them with a patriarchal blessing. For the Lord in their midst, and he, Adam, blessed them all, and were told what should befall them to the latest generation. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 158. The priesthood was first given to Adam. He obtained the first presidency, that's for this earth, and held the keys from it generations to generations. He obtained it in the creation before the world was formed, as in Genesis 1:26, 1:27, and 1:28. Oh man, I am so tired. He had dominion given over every living creature. He is Michael the archangel, spoken of in the scriptures. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 157. The priesthood is an everlasting example. The priesthood is an everlasting principle and existed with God from eternity and will to eternity without beginning of days nor end of years. The keys have to be brought from heaven whenever the gospel is sent. When they are revealed from heaven, it is by Adam's authority. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 157. Adam was made to open the way of the world and for dressing the garden. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 12. Daniel, in his 7th chapter, speaks of the Ancient of Days. He means the oldest man, our father Adam, Michael. He will call his children together, and they will counsel with him. They will hold a council with them to prepare them for the coming of the Son of Man. He, Adam, is the father of the human family and presides over the spirits of all men, and all that have had their keys must stand before him in this grand council. This may take place before some of us leave this stage of action. The Son of Man stands before them, and there is glory given to glory there's glory given him and dominion from that. Oh man, I'm almost there. Adam delivered up his stewardship to Christ, that which was delivered to him as holding the keys of the universe, but retains his standing as head of the human family. Commencing with Adam, who was the first man, who is spoken of in Daniel as being the Ancient of Days, or in other words, the first and oldest of all, the grand progenitor, of whom it is said in another place, he is Michael, because he is the first and the father of all living. Not only by progeny, but by the first to hold the spiritual blessings. to whom was made known the plan of ordinances for the salvation of his posterity unto the end, and to whom Christ was first revealed, and through whom Christ has been revealed from heaven, and will continue to be revealed from henceforth. Adam holds the keys of the dispensation of the fullness of times, the dispensation of him from the beginning to Christ, and from Christ to the end of the dispensations that are to be revealed. So, that's Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 167 and 168. So, when Joseph Smith was in the grove, and he saw a light above the brightness of the sun, which descended down upon him until the light rested on him, and then he saw a personage, or he saw two personages whose brightness and glory defy all description, standing above him in the air. And one of them said, "This is my beloved son, hear ye him." Joseph Smith knew exactly this quote here, this teaching of the prophet Joseph Smith, when he was looking at the Father say, "This is my beloved son, hear him." Adam reveals Christ to us. Joseph Smith saw Adam, who is Michael, who is our Heavenly Father, reveal Christ to him. When I was caught up and I saw the Father and I knelt down before him, it was Father Adam that I was kneeling before. Let's read this again. I know it's hard for a lot of people to understand. I know it's really difficult because the church wants to tell you something different. But let's read this quote again. "Commencing with Adam, who was the first man, who is spoken who is spoken of in Daniel as being the Ancient of Days, or in other words, the first and oldest of all, the great grand progenitor, of whom it is said in another place he is Michael." Daniel chapter 12, that's where he's talking about. "Because he was the first and father of all, not only by progeny, but the first to hold the spiritual blessings, to whom was made known the plan of ordinances for the salvation of his posterity unto the end, and to whom Christ was first revealed, and through whom Christ has been revealed from heaven, and will continue to be revealed henceforth." What does this mean? When Jesus Christ comes to an individual, he is introduced by his Father, who is Michael, Adam. Adam holds the keys of the dispensation of the fullness of times. The dispensation of him from the beginning to Christ, and from Christ to the end of the dispensations that are to be revealed. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 167 and 168. He sets the ordinances to be the same forever and ever, and set Adam to watch over them, to reveal them from heaven to man, or to send angels to reveal them. Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. And again, Joseph Smith, and these angels are under the direction of Michael or Adam. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 163. Why? Because Michael is the father. This then is the nature of the priesthood, every man holding the presidency of his dispensation, and one man holding the presidency of them all, even Adam. Teachings of the Prophet Joseph Smith, page 169. See, Michael, who took upon himself the name of Adam to honor God the Eternal Father, is the president of this earth. The first presidency of this earth, if you're looking at, it's the same structure as the church. Adam holds the first presidency. He is the president of the earth. And his two counselors are the Redeemer, who is Yeshua, who we call Jesus the Christ, and God the Witness, who we call the Holy Ghost. And under his direction are all things done on this earth. He is the first. He's the father of this earth. Quite literally, spiritually, and also physically. So when we come back, we'll be at 51%. We'll be on question 7. And let's see where we're at here. We're on page 160. So we'll come back. We'll be on page 160 on question 7. So thank you for listening. Take care, everyone. God bless. Goodbye.